In this video, I decided to challenge myself to do a logo. This is for a real client project. I did 1 minute, 10 minutes, and 1 hour. I'm gonna show you the results of what I created. The brand is called Dubs Media. It's an agency that helps connect brands to creators, so like influencers. Now, this one was pretty quick. I just had 1 minute. It's hard to get a lot of stuff done in 1 minute. I just focused on trying to do, not an icon, but just a logo type design. So I just punched out a lot of different fonts. I was trying to find something that feels modern, that's not too boring, and I just went through my whole list of hundreds of fonts and tried to find something, and I eventually landed on a nice sans serif font and just tried to be a bit creative with the kerning, tighten it up a little bit. I was thinking of maybe customizing one of the letters, but I started running out of time and it was too fast. So I just played around with the colors a little bit. Also the I was trying to like play around with the O, but then because it was a compound part, it was taking me too long to like get it working. But I had 10 seconds left and I was like all right with it, but then I was like, yeah, let's just change the colors to try and make it something. And then eventually just landed on this Dubs Media. That was 1 minute. The next part of the challenge was doing 10 minutes. Now this time I started off just pumping out different fonts again, but this time I had more time, so I wanted to try and pick something that I felt could work really well. So I just went through my list and picked different types of fonts. I really wanted to find something a bit unique. So once I found a font I liked, I wanted to make it a little unique, so I started playing around with different colors on the words, so trying out media and dubs, making it a bit lighter or gray, and just seeing if it worked. I really wanted to make it pretty simple, so I wasn't trying to do anything crazy. I had this idea of maybe putting an upward arrow to make it feel a bit more dynamic and focus on, like, you know, growing your agency or growing your brand. So I pulled the arrow from the glyphs on the font, which is a cool little trick that I used to like just put the arrow there, and I was trying different angles. It wasn't quite sitting right, and I was just seeing like maybe put it diagonally. I was maybe thinking of like playing with the U and extending that to match the B bar, or extending the top of the B, the ascender there. And I was just really tweaking, playing around with these ideas. I didn't really try and explore too much because I knew my time was short. I only had like a few minutes left. And at this point, I was really just focused and honing in on that arrow, testing out different angles, making it look unique, and just seeing what sticks. You know, logo design, I just try and do a lot of different ideas and see what feels right. I like tweaking the E, maybe turning it a little bit on an angle, fixing the kerning to make it different, and a bit more distinct. And then I thought, what if I just like cut out those extra little like shapes or the bottoms of the descenders on those letters there, to make it more like, you know, symmetrical. And I think it worked okay. Then I had an idea of like, what if I had like a speech bubble to put inside of the B, but I didn't really like it. It just made it look weird. But overall, I think it was pretty good. So I didn't have much time to do a icon. I just like didn't even focus on it at this point. I was just like, stuff it. And so I really just focused on the logo type. But with the 1 hour, the next bit, I actually did come up with an icon, which I thought was really nice. But overall, I ended up changing up just flat color to like a gradient, and I felt like that felt a bit more modern, and put the logo on black for the final hour. I played around with a lot of different icons, as you can see on the left. So I created all that within 15 minutes. I did forget to hit the timer, so it was already down to 45 minutes. But I was playing around with like the D and M, doing like a monogram. And I also played around with just the D shapes, like just putting simple rectangle shapes, square shapes. I really like this idea of like the arrow within inside the D to create this negative silhouette. And that kind of worked really well. I started playing around with the D, flipping it, rotating it, doing like this radial effect to maybe come up with some unique abstract shape. It came up with like sort of this star, and then I had this like tile pattern thing going on, and I was just exploring, iterating, and just doing my thing. And that's what I do. I get in the zone when I'm designing a logo, but I really wanted to keep things distinct and simple. I played around with this sort of arrow effect inside the D there. I had two fonts. I had an uppercase all caps bold font, and then I had a lowercase one, not as bold, but sans serif. And then I was playing around with these simple D shapes, and I thought I got inspired by the Webflow logo, how it's got these sort of stacking different shapes together. different angles, and I thought that would be really cool. So I played around with the D there, cutting out bits using the shape builder tool like I always do when I'm doing a logo, and maybe throwing in the M in there. But yeah, I was just trying to see what felt good, and just kept going and played around. I did have some other logos at the top there for inspiration, got from like Logo Book and Dribbble and stuff. But overall, I was trying to not look at it too much because then I'll start copying it. So I like to just create shapes and go with the logo, or go with the flow really. At this point in the process, I wanted to stick with the simple shape idea and make it sort of look like pixels or cutting out parts of the D. But I knew I wanted a D. I had 16 minutes left, so I really was rushing to finalize this icon. I felt the font that I picked was good, so that was all set, but I just needed to get the icon right. So I was just iterating, duplicating, and just going along with that. And then I started tweaking the logo type, making the eye look a bit different, like putting this angular shape, like triangle shape. And then I think I changed my mind for this one, but I picked 3 of my favorite icons and the fonts. I decided to go with the lowercase font. I felt it was more welcoming and friendly and modern. And here was my 3 final shapes that I picked with a minute left. I was just chucking it on a black background, and here is the final result of what I came up with. If you do want to learn logo design, I have a course on logo design for beginners and also logo design styles. So I show you the whole process of how I create logos for clients. So if you want to check that out, just click the link in the description below and you can start learning. And if you do want to get some other resources, I do have a video on logo design resources that you can check here that I posted recently.